Washington is really special to the game industry because we've obviously had a very strong tech sector here for years.
We've got about 17,000 game developers in our state. We have 330 game companies. We have 90,000 software developers.
Here we have Microsoft with Xbox, we have Valve, which runs the Steam platform, we have Bungie, the guys who previously made Halo for Microsoft and now make Destiny. Nintendo has a major office here. We have one of the most well-respected game development educational institutions in the world, which is DigiPen.
Washington State has really big companies that everyone's very familiar with, but it's very important to build an ecosystem of independent game developers because that's where the creative talent comes from.
Independent developers are super important to the industry. They're the ones I feel who can take the most risk in discovering what we can do with video games.
The independent game developer struggles to be seen and heard. You really need to create a supportive network to help find the mentors they need and the financial support they need. Washington Interactive Network works with the independent game developers to understand really where their needs lie and then build curriculum that will really support them, both in terms of the toolkit that they need to make the product, but most importantly the business side, because many creative people really are not business people.
The Washington Interactive Network Game Startup Workshop Series were hugely valuable for us. The workshops were focused on the logistics of forming a company, payroll and accounting and bookkeeping. And those things were, not the things that you think about when you want to form a company, but are super important.
My company is a very small startup. We still work out of our homes. Our first game that we own is called Infinite Scuba, and it helps people explore the ocean from home. So we build real dive sites with real wildlife, real scuba gear, real dive science. We've got a lot of teachers who are using it now as part of a marine biology program. The value of the Washington Interactive Network is extremely high for groups like ours. We know how to develop software. We're not business owners. The mentors that are provided through WIN are like taking a master class, and I couldn't have gotten those skills any other way. Getting any kind of help we can is absolutely invaluable, and this is the only sort of organization like this in the area, so we feel really lucky to be part of it.
In addition to the workshop series, there's also been the Power Play Conference with a great indie game showcase so that the young independent gamers have a place to show off their games to one another. At all stages of development, they get to meet one another, they get to meet prospective publishers perhaps, or even investors.
Anytime we get an opportunity to show the game is very enlightening in terms of seeing how people react to the game. So in some terms it helps you with play testing, just getting it in front of more people.
You can't really find an audience for a game without a real personal connection with them. Doing expos is a great way of doing that. The Game Startup was probably one of my favorite events. We ended up getting a lot of resources out of that. Connection with BizSpark, with Microsoft BizSpark, which ended up getting us a lot of software licenses, saving us a lot of money.
If you really want to have kind of a sense of what's happening in the industry, you've got to be talking to other people. Conferences are very useful as an opportunity to meet up and talk to people. So the fact that WIN is putting together events for folks to get together and that those events are growing is really wonderful.
It's critical that we get more women into the game development space because, right now, as our statistics show us, is that we're about 50% of game players are women, whereas about 20% of game makers are women. The IHD has a stated goal of doubling the number of women in the game industry by 2025, and WIN has been fantastic in supporting that goal, especially in their position as being an aggregator of information, being so well connected between government and business. And so I think they play a really vital role in helping us as nonprofit organizations to kind of help move that forward.
The biggest challenge, I think, being a woman in this industry is that there aren't that many of us doing it. That's something that we're trying to help. It's something that I'm particularly passionate about.
The biggest thing that drives people to create games is the passion for games. It's pure and simple.
There's a lot of satisfaction in creating something that then not only I can enjoy, but I can give it to my family and friends and see them enjoy. And that's why I do it, and I think that's why a lot of other people do it.
In the game industry, a lot of people around the world would love to have what we have here in the Seattle area. And they'd love to have this vibrant community of game developers. We're seeing just this huge amount of new ideas coming into the game business, new creativity, and that's why it's so important. This indie game development is now the source of so many great new ideas that are going to take us forward in the game business.